We're going to do part 2 of the Waylon instructional series that I'm doing here. Once again, just running my Telecaster through Guitar Rig and Pro Tools, through some studio monitors, some really cool M-Audio ones that I dig. This time I'm using like a phaser sound, which I know last time I kind of went on and on about how that's not necessary, and it's not, but it's cool. It's like the Guitar Rig version of a Phase 90, going through a Fender Bassman, again, simulation, and I think there's a bit of reverb on it. That's about it. It's not really a Waylon sound. It's kind of a facsimile of what you could possibly call a Waylon sound. You can't see it in the video. It's sitting to my immediate left. I just got an EVH Fender 5153, which is the best amp in the world. I was going to run through that, but I haven't quite tweaked it to where if I'm going to use an amp, I want to actually nail the Waylon sound ones. If I just use Guitar Rig, I can kind of use that as a bit of a scapegoat and say, well, I got close. But it's got a great Fender clean channel, and 2 amazing overdrive channels. I got the matching 2x12 cabinet. It's the 50 watt version. I sound like I'm doing an ad for EVH here. I seriously recommend it beyond anything I've ever used. All my other stuff is up for sale. This is the amp. But with that said, for this, yes, going through Guitar Rig, got the, as I think I detailed last time, got the just a Mexican Telecaster set up with 942s, I think. These strings are old. I should change them. I haven't changed them since the last video. I haven't really used this since the last video. So EMG pickups, just like Waylon used in the later years. And yeah, alright, so what I played at the start there was just a bit of Rainy Day Woman. It was loosely based on it. Someone asked me to do an improv based on Rainy Day Woman, so I figured I'd kind of knock that over here, and not have to do a separate video for it. I've kind of screwed up the end a bit, but whatever. Okay, so what we're going to look at, and before I probably start, I do apologise if I go over anything from the other video. It's just all kind of tied together, so things are going to overlap. Hopefully you get enough out of it that it doesn't matter if that happens. The comments for the last one was so cool. I'm touched that people actually dig this stuff so much. I'll try and reveal everything that I know. Okay, so we're going to look at the way chords are important to the Waylon style of guitar playing. So everything he does is kind of based around chord. Well, a lot of stuff he does is based around chords. And you'll find that, like, even in solos, he solos based around a chord. Well, I mean, everyone does, yeah. He does it in a different way. So you're going to hold down, like, an A chord. Don't play it 3 fingers, play it 1 finger. You know, it's very rock and roll, actually. Don't worry too much about hitting the note on the B string, the C sharp, the major third. He kind of, in this style, he was, in a sense, playing power chords a lot. Whether it was intentional or not, I don't know. But when he plays a G at the 3rd fret, and he doesn't play a bar chord like that. No, he'll play it with his thumb and kind of mute that 3rd there a little bit, so you kind of get it sometimes, sometimes you don't. Anyway, back to the A. You're playing an A, and you're going to be picking like the open A string, then the octave up, so on the G, then the 2nd fret. Alright, so pick the A, open A string, use your finger. I use my middle for the octave. I think I use my middle. Yeah. And then you're going to pick the 2nd fret of the D string, which is an E note. You're going to pick that with the pick. Okay? So here's how you get that rolling Waylon sound that we've heard in everything he does he did in A, pretty much incorporated this lick somehow. You know, just the only alternate note there that you're throwing in is on the A string you're playing the 4th fret, which is a C sharp. So it's that major third, but he's doing it in a lower octave. Very cool. So you're basically playing a major chord just kind of out of order. Just roll back and forth, just play around with it, you'll get it. Now, another cool thing is, he does the same lick in E. You just move everything up one string, or I guess in terms of pitch, you'd say down one string, but whatever, you know what I mean. Closer to the low E, closer to the roof. Is how sometimes I have to describe it when I teach. Kind of gets a bit ambiguous with guitar, you know, what is up, what is down, and just say closer to the roof, closer to the floor, then, you know, so I'm going to just do a 2-chord thing here, and it's basically the Rainy Day Woman kind of feel, because that has 2 chords, A and E. Whatever. You know, ignore that bad note that I threw in there too. So that's how he does it with A and E. Now, when you're talking about something like a D chord, much the same thing. Just remember that the highest note in pitch, you're generally going to be using a finger to pick. Low ones, use the pick. I kind of went over this before, I know. And think in terms of chords, which actually makes it easier because you're not having to... It's not really that much of a theoretical approach, because the theory is kind of taken care of for you. It's there, you know, you're playing the chord. And you just add a few notes to it and kind of use that style of his, and you've got it. You've got the sound. Now, the possibly even more than his lead playing, his rhythm playing was great. Now that kind of rhythm, and you speed it up, slow it down, do whatever. But he had a very unique rhythm sound, and that's very easy to copy. Just listen to the recording. If you know the chords and you can hear the rhythm, there's no reason you can't play it. Make sure you use your thumb, as I've said before. Don't use a pick. He didn't do that. I shouldn't say that. He did, but it was very rare. He just used his thumb. That was part of the unique sound. Let me think of an example. Alright, the live versions of I May Be Used, but Baby I Ain't Used Up. When he'd go into that, he'd speed it up. He could have been using a pick. I haven't actually listened to it for a while, but you can do it with your thumb just as well. So, you know, shopping around, something or two. You get a feel for what he's doing there. That defines his style. His lead playing, in many ways, is kind of just an extension of his rhythm playing. You know, you can... whatever. So you can change this also to like incorporate, or use it. I shouldn't say change it. Use it to incorporate other elements of your style with chords, right? So do that. So I'm going to play an A to a D. Okay, so we're going to play a lead lick. D. Alright. What if you were to play a D up here? So what it should actually be is an A-shaped bar chord. There we go. Played starting at the 5th fret. Waylon didn't play in that way. kind of like that, maybe 2 fingers, maybe 1 finger. I think it varied a lot. Doesn't really matter, it sounds the same. Okay, so you might start playing around there. So, what am I doing? It's kind of cool. I'm playing. What am I playing? D, F sharp, E, F sharp, G, F sharp, E, D. Throw in the open D string as well. Easy. And it's still based around the notes of the major chord. Again, I don't think he knew. Well, I'm not going to say he didn't know, but I don't think it was something that Waylon consciously thought about. Oh, I'm playing the notes of a major chord. When I started doing it, I didn't even consciously think about it. I just kind of saw that they were common tones, the notes, and the theory of what he's doing too much, because he wasn't. Know it, understand it, embrace it, whatever. Don't be obsessed with it. Don't try and break his playing into modes and scales. Which scale do I need to know to play Waylon? You don't. You need to know how to play the chords. And if you can play the chords, you can kind of get what you need. Now, what else? If you want to truly nail it, you got to keep working on stuttering, or the staccato style of playing that he had. You wouldn't hear Waylon go, I'm just going to make up a lick here and I'm hoping it sounds the way I'm intending. You wouldn't hear him go, like, legato kind of thing. If Waylon did it, and I mean, he wouldn't play that lick to begin with, but if he did it, it'd be something kind of like, that didn't really sound like him. That's because the note selection wasn't right. But if that's the way he did it, he would use that kind of staccato, that kind of thing. All right. So even when he played riffs, that was in there. And it's not like he played a lot of riffy kind of things in the sense that you might expect from Van Halen or something like that. But take T for Texas, which is probably my best example of it. Just the prototypical Waylon style guitar thing. It's got so much of his stuff in it. He would play this intro. You kind of hear it on the live album. It's not. I don't know. I like the live album version of it, but the bootlegs are kind of cool too from around the era, because he was playing around a bit more. So anyway, get your intro. But it's something like this. It's just a takeoff of 12-bar blues kind of thing. Whatever. But you know, certain notes he kind of accentuates. He doesn't go. He gives it feel. Again, into that rolling feel. So these are all. I know this hasn't been as informative as the first one, and I didn't actually prepare for this at all. I was kind of sitting at home and thought, it's time I did another one of those Waylon videos. So the next one should be a little bit more informative, just like the first one. Hopefully you took something from this, and please, requests, all that stuff, send them in, post them as comments. So blown away with the reaction of the first one. I'll try and accommodate all the requests, and yeah, just send it through, and I'll see if I can do. I know most of this stuff, and I can figure it all out. I think. I hope. So send it through, and we'll see what.